All right, guys, today's case is awful. It's one of those cases where just when you think that it couldn't possibly get any worse, it does. It certainly does. It starts out being an unsolved murder, and then it becomes uh, two murders and a suicide, and no doubt about who did it. This is one of those cases where, you have to ask yourself, was this avoidable? Um, is there cracks in the systems that led to these tragic deaths? This is the story of Josh Powell. So stay tuned and let us know what you guys think. Hello.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our channel, Two Peas in a Crime Pod.
Episode 38.
Episode 38 indeed. So to all of our subscribers, all 20-some thousand of y'all, hey, what's up? You guys are keeping it real.
Yes.
And if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome, like and subscribe.
Please.
Yes. So, today my mom's trying to journal and do some work, and I'm just sitting at the table, just vocal ticking like crazy. And I've been watching. Okay, I love the show Dawson's Creek. I love it, and
never seen it.
It was really popular before, like when I should have been watching it. So I didn't watch it until my late 20s. I started watching Dawson's Creek when I was like pregnant with my daughter Lindsay, like 11 years ago. So that show had already been out for fucking forever. And I don't know why. I was watching it one day and like making fun of it, and then like just kept watching it and then never stopped watching it. And now it's like my 7th time watching the series through. And just last week, James Vanderbeek passed away of cancer, which is really sad because he was young and he had a big family. I think he had 6 kids.
Oh, no.
So really sad. But I, for whatever reason today, cannot get that Paula Cole songs out of my head. And I just kept going, I don't want to wait. Like, Mom's trying to get ready. And like, I'll just be like, wearing shrapnel in his skin. And she's like, I hate that song. And I was like, but you love when I sing it, right? Right? And then I broke into, should I got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
With the fur.
And we were just going back and forth, and then it was really quiet again for a minute. And then I was like, oh, his father and his father and his father. I want you here now. So I don't know what's going on in my brain. It's a fun place.
It is.
It's a fun place.
I was enjoying it. She thought she was annoying me, but she was like, what are you writing in that journal? Are you writing Captain's log? Having a hard time dealing with Courtney today? I was like, absolutely not.
I was like, are you journaling about how much you fucking hate me? She was like, no.
I love you. You're so entertaining.
This is my food journal.
It's like, normally I sit around and there's no noise, no one to talk to, nothing happening but my own breath. So.
See, even at home when I'm alone, I would just
You're not alone.
In the kitchen going, his father and his father and his father didn't need you here now.
No.
So open up your heart and then like laughing at myself because I know I'm ridiculous. Like, I think I'm so funny.
That's so cute.
Because I am absolutely absurd. This morning I was in the shower and
oh boy.
Case in point. I had my music playing on the radio.
Okay.
And the song like Pretty Girl Walk came on, and it's like, all the pretty girls walk like this. I'm sure Lindsay's made you listen to it.
Yes.
But I was in the shower and I started doing like
like a entertaining
like
yourself.
The Sasquatch walk. This. And then I just laugh at myself. Like,
you just need to be on your own TV show with cameras in every room. And we would all be so entertained. Like,
I'll tell
what's
you
that
what.
show with Jim Carrey where...
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show. It needs to be the Courtney Show.
Yeah, if you guys could just ride in the car with me or be in the shower with me, I'm telling you, it wouldn't even be erotic. It wouldn't even they wouldn't even need to like blur. There wouldn't people be like, no, nobody's getting off this. Nobody's hard watching that dance in the shower right now. Like, it's not even about that.
No.
It's absolute bizarre. It's my whole life. Just weird. I'm just a fucking weirdo. But I do, and then I laugh at myself, and the kids are so used to me doing like vocal tics or like shouting for no reason, something random, or like moving in weird ways for no, like, the kids are absolutely unfazed. Like, it is just normal life. They're gonna grow up thinking that this is how people act.
Yeah.
My poor kids.
That's okay.
This is why they're weird. So if their teachers are watching this is why my kids are fucking weird. This is why they just blurt shit out in the middle of class. And Harvey's like, I don't really talk. My teacher said I talk during class. And I was like, yeah, buddy, that's what she said. She said she's had to reprimand you for speaking in the middle of class and not paying attention. He was like, I don't talk a lot, but I do just start singing a song in the middle. I was like, that'll do it. That's probably exactly what the fuck she meant.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. My Harv.
Harvey's probably just sitting in there, like randomly singing Hall & Oates songs.
Probably.
Sitting at his desk like, I done told you once, you son of a bitch, I'm the best it's ever been. Because he's obsessed with The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I got a late start today. I went to bed around 1:30, and usually that's enough sleep for me to get up and do the podcast. And I set my alarm for 8, and I woke up at 8:30. Totally slept through my alarm.
Still sleepy.
So I was like, well, Courtney's always late anyway. She usually doesn't get here till 10:30.
This is true.
So
and then I walked at
9:30, and I was still in the bathtub, and I was like, I've got my big tall cup of coffee. I was just gonna relax for a little bit. I thought I had an hour before you got here.
I was like, don't rush. She called me from the bathtub. I was like, don't rush just because of me, because I'm happen to be on time for once. Take fucking time. Sip your coffee.
She's notorious for being late.
Well, okay. I am, but also last week, why was I late? Do you remember why I said I was late? Last week I was on time, except for when I got up, I had my period and it had leaked all over my clothes.
Oh, that's right.
I was scrubbing blood out of my clothes. Yeah, so I'm sorry I was late last week, Mom. Take it up with my uterus.
I will. I'm going to write it a strongly worded letter.
Why don't you cut it out? I do my best to be on time, but rarely am I. It's usually when I'm on time someplace, everybody's like, "Ooh, Courtney's on time." Makes a joke out of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a joke. I get it.
But no, it's going to be a great day. It's a little rainy out, but it's going to be 60 degrees, which is a big change from -5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my windows down.
Yeah.
If it was summertime and it was like 50 degrees, I'd like be in a parka and absolutely freezing to death with the chills. Mm-hmm. But in late winter, it's 50 degrees and I'm outside in a t-shirt with my window down like, hey, yeah, what's up?
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Starving for warmth. Sunlight upon my skin.
First of all, let's do a viewer discretion.
VD.
This case is going to be
y'all a little VD.
About bad things happening to people. So if that will trigger you, don't watch it.
What kind of bad things?
Let's get into it. I don't know if you've heard about this case or not. It's been pretty well covered. Susan Powell.
That name sounds very familiar. Susan Powell. White girl, black hair. Susan Powell. Why do I know that name? I feel like I do know that name. I just can't place why yet.
Let me give you a synopsis.
Okay.
Susan Marie Powell, her maiden name is Cox, was a young mother living with her husband Joshua, otherwise known as Josh Powell, and their two sons in West Valley City, Utah. She was reported missing on December 7th of 2009, and her case remains listed as a missing person cold case with Utah authorities.
Yeah.
I think once I get into the details, you'll be like, oh, I did see something on this.
Yeah, that name sounds really familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look up her picture. But go ahead, continue.
Well, she was born Susan Marie Cox on October 16th in 1981. And if I get this wrong, sorry, Alamogordo, New Mexico. She grew up in a large family in the western United States and was raised in a devout Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints household.
Okay. The husband looks very familiar to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. These pictures are ringing a bell. Yeah. Yeah, I must have watched something on this. I don't know if it was a 48 hours or something, but yeah, all of their faces are looking really familiar. So I bet more details are gonna.
You'll probably be like, oh, this is ringing a bell now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by multiple accounts from friends and family, she was musically talented and she enjoyed singing. She kept journals regularly, and she was described as warm, expressive, optimistic, and deeply devoted to her family. She definitely maintained strong ties with her parents and siblings. Later, she lived in Washington State, where she would meet the man who became her husband. His name is Joshua Powell. And she met Joshua in the late 1990s through church and social connections. They dated for several years before marrying in April of 2001. So that is like 11 years in a Latter-day Saint temple.
Years. So wait, they got married in 2001?
Yes.
When did they meet?
1990. Is there something on me? I keep seeing something down here like glowing as my mouth moves.
I don't think so. There's a hair in your nose. There you go. I think
that's what it was.
Yeah, I think there was a hair like fluttering around your nose.
What? Oh, it's the glitter on my cheeks from my from my eyeshadow. That's what it is. And when I move,
you're seeing it twinkle.
It's twinkling off the lights in the candle. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. So wait, 1990?
Yeah, so they met in late 1990s. I'm sorry, it's not 1990, the late 90s.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes. So they dated for several years and they got married in 2001.
Okay.
All right. At the time, Susan was 19 and Josh was 25.
Well, no wonder they waited a couple years.
Yeah.
Did you say Mormon?
Latter-day Saints.
Oh, got it.
Is that different than Mormon? Yeah, they believe differently.
The LDS church is different, yes. They're 6 of one, half dozen of another. But is Latter-day Saints a Mormon sect, or is it?
Yeah, no, it's not Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness.
No,
that's what I was thinking of. No, it's like a Mormon sect. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they did not practice that.
And you said Utah, right?
New Mexico. She grew up in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. They did live in West Valley City, Utah. Sorry.
That's where all the Mormons live.
Okay, that is where they live.
Makes me never want to go to Utah. Continue.
All right. Friends and family initially described their relationship as typical young love, but over time, documented writings in her journal and interviews paint a more strained picture. Well, after the marriage, the couple moved several times between Washington and Utah, but by the late 2000s, they were living in West Valley City, Utah.
Okay.
They had significant financial strain. Their home actually went into foreclosure, which is really hard.
Yeah, that's hard to go through.
Yes.
And moving, it says that they had moved back and forth. That's a lot to go through too.
It is. That's a very stressful Um, it's up there on the
Yeah,
life events.
that'll break up any relationship. No
Yeah,
matter. Trying to fucking move
it
is
can.
stressful.
You
Yeah.
need some coping skills for that. Yeah. So Josh is actually the one that controlled most financial decisions. And Susan had actually written in journals that she felt concerned about their money situation. So
Rightfully so, it would seem.
they were probably, at odds regarding how
And
he's handling the
not
money.
every guy that keeps financial and like hardships from his wife is like a sinister piece of shit. Like I do get that there are some guys that are like really trying and they don't want their wife to worry and they're down on themselves. Like they want to do what they're supposed to do. They want to provide and they want everything to be okay. Like I get it, but you're not doing anybody any favors. Like loop her in. Yeah. I'm sure she can help in one way or another.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, in unsealed police documents that were reported by media outlets, investigators described a letter Susan wrote stating that she feared for her life. If something happened to her, she was concerned about Josh's behavior and she wanted documentation in case she disappeared.
Boy, that's not a good feeling.
No. Yeah. So obviously,
I got heart palpitations just listening to you say that. My heart went blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I know. I know. The writings became central to how investigators later interpreted her marriage and her disappearance.
They did what?
What did I say?
You said interpreted.
We're making fun of my words. I didn't even realize I said interpreted.
Interpreted.
I just thought that was a word.
It is now.
It is now. Interpreted. Okay, back to the case.
I'm just trying to fucking interpretate what it is you're saying over here. Always. Oh, mama. Go ahead.
Okay. Susan's family has publicly stated that she confided concerns about her marriage. She felt emotionally controlled by Josh, and she felt isolated from friends and relatives at times. Well, yeah, they were living away from her family, so, and just being with him, if he's being, if you're emotionally controlling somebody, in other words, you don't want to deal with their emotions. You don't want to,
if she's having any kind of normal human emotions, like being sad because she misses her family or homesick or needing help with the kids or saying little things like, hey, why'd we get a foreclosure letter in the mail? Any kind of normal human reaction to things.
It's irritating
he ain't got
him.
No time for that.
Right.
Yeah. Just shut up and be submissive already.
Well, Susan worked outside the home and was known as responsible and dependable. At the time of her disappearance, she worked as a real estate administrative assistant in Utah.
Okay.
Colleagues reported that she was punctual and organized. It was very unusual for her not to show up to work, and she had plans for the future. So it was her failure to appear for work on December 7th of 2009 that was a red flag that triggered concern.
Yeah.
At her place of employment. About her children, Susan and Josh had 2 sons. Charles Powell, otherwise known as Charlie, who was born in 2005, described as thoughtful and observant, and later became a key figure in the investigation after statements he reportedly made in a child forensic interview. And then Braden Powell, who was born in 2007, he was the younger of the two and very energetic, deeply attached to his mother, too young at the time of her disappearance to provide any meaningful recollections. Right. So, police stated Susan was last seen alive at the family home on December 6th of 2009 around 5 p.m. when a neighbor left after visiting for dinner. Everything that happens after that is according to Josh.
Okay.
So Josh told investigators that sometime after midnight, He took the boys camping in Tooele County, Tooele. I'm not sure how you would pronounce that. Tooele County. In freezing conditions with snow in the forecast.
At midnight is always when I load up.
Yeah.
To go camping.
Isn't it?
Two very small children.
Right, that have school in the morning.
On a normal sleeping schedule, yeah.
He said he wanted to test a generator.
I do remember.
Okay.
This case. Now, you're telling me these really stupid fucking details.
Yeah.
That opened the little filing cabinet drawer.
Yeah. Yes. He said he left Susan at home sleeping. Why wouldn't you just leave the boys at home with Susan? Why take them freezing to camp at midnight? Who's going to set up a tent at midnight in the dark? I have trouble in broad daylight putting a tent together.
Yeah. Obviously doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, he obviously doesn't have...
Unless someone in both of their families can be like, no, that's when we've always, for years, we always leave at midnight to go camping. That's... And it's like well documented that that's completely normal for them.
Yeah. No.
Nope.
All right. Investigators found this explanation suspicious because of the time, of the fact that he took two small children with him, of the fact that they were expected at daycare in just a few hours, and Josh's story about timing and details appeared inconsistent or oddly vague in early questioning.
Oh, man can't go camping?
So Monday, December 7th, Susan didn't show up for work and the children were not dropped off at daycare. Josh later returned home with the boys and spoke with police, but Susan was not with them. There was, so what they found inside the home, there was a wet spot on the couch with two box fans blowing on it. And some suspicious forensic evidence that they found was Susan's blood on a tile near the sofa.
Now, I have thought this a lot. If I were ever to go missing and they were to go through my house, there's little bits of blood everywhere because your girl gets a lot of bloody noses or like my leg will be completely cut open and bleeding and I won't fucking notice and I'll bleed all over my bed.
That's weird.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what did I scratch myself on? What did I do? Like,
okay.
I don't know. But like, unless there is a large, like if there's just like a couple splatters on my mattress or my pillow or something, I don't mean nothing.
Okay.
That shit's been there.
Okay.
There better be a fucking up the ceiling knife swing pattern or a pool of blood. That's an indicator of something. But if y'all just find some like blood on my mattress,
it was probably harmless.
Doesn't fucking mean anything.
Okay. Let's just hope you don't go missing. Let's just hope for that.
Well, nobody ever plans on going missing. I'm sure Susan wasn't planning on going missing. But.
Right. All right. So there was also a written note expressing fear. It was a handwritten letter in which Susan wrote that she did not trust Josh and wanted a paper trail. And investigators also found multiple life insurance policies on her.
If a woman has to write down, hey, if you're seeing this, I don't trust my husband, and if I go missing, he fucking did it.
Yeah.
What else do you need? Okay? This isn't Gone Girl. This isn't some elaborate fucking scheme to set up some fucking loser that had nothing. For what reason? You know?
Right. Like, yeah, no. And she's not going to leave her kids and
yeah.
So after Susan Powell vanished in December, Charlie and Braden remained with their dad, Joshua Powell, for nearly 2 years, but then custody was transferred. The children ultimately ended up before the transfer in the Washington state system amid a custody dispute between Josh and Susan's parents. So, While Josh was never charged, Utah investigators publicly identified him as the sole person of interest in Susan's disappearance. That's one of the reasons.
The parents were able to get custody.
Yes, that was just one, but there were a lot more. By 2011, Utah police had executed search warrants, publicly stated they believed Susan was dead, and said that Josh was uncooperative and provided inconsistent statements. That alone didn't automatically remove custody, but it weighed heavily in family court. It was the child abuse allegations against Stephen Powell's father that ultimately.
Who's Stephen Powell?
Oh, I'm sorry. Against Joshua's father, Stephen Powell.
Okay.
Not Stephen Powell's father.
Joshua's father, Stephen Powell. Okay, this is ringing a bell.
Okay.
I'm remembering this now. Yes.
So in 2011, Josh's father was arrested in Washington State on voyeurism and child pornography charges involving the neighborhood children. Investigators found thousands of images of these children that were taken inconspicuously, not them posing for a camera.
Right.
Secretly recorded video of the children, and then also obsessive journals about Susan. So dad's got a major crush on Susan, his son's wife. Yeah, it's icky.
Yeah.
This was critical because Josh and the boys had been living in Stephen Powell's home in Washington after Susan disappeared. So Child Protective Services determined the boys may have been exposed to inappropriate materials and that the environment was unsafe for them. Stephen Powell was actually convicted of voyeurism.
At least somebody in the family actually got a conviction.
Right, right. So there was disturbing behavior actually observed in the boys. The court documents and child welfare reports indicated that Charlie reportedly made statements suggesting knowledge of his mother's disappearance. The boys exhibited concerning behaviors during evaluations, and there were questions about coaching and psychological pressure. One of the most widely reported and documented elements is that during a forensic interview, Charlie, the older one, he said, "Mommy went camping with us." But when asked where she was, he just said she did not come back. So that obviously conflicted with Josh's original statement that she stayed home.
Yeah.
And the statement became central in the custody proceedings then.
Yeah.
So
she was probably killed at the house, put in the car dead. He loads everybody up, tells the kids mom's just sleeping.
Right. And they're too young to.
Right. They fall asleep. He drags her somewhere. Don't understand how they can't find her. Because my first question would have been like, where'd you go camping?
Right.
And then they load up and come home. Because oftentimes people camp between the hours of 1 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have heard what the boys said about whether a tent was even put up or,
Right.
What do you mean you were camping? What did you do?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, according to court records and child protective reports, there were concerns about inappropriate sexualized behavior observed in at least one of the boys. So this occurred during the time they were living in the home of Josh's father, Stephen, who was later convicted of voyeurism.
I'm sure.
And that obviously was a heavy, weight of regarding whether or not the boys had experienced any kind of inappropriate abuse.
Right. If they'd seen anything or experienced it firsthand or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, reports indicated the boys showed regression in their behavior, probably started either bedwetting or, having accidents.
Yeah.
Emotional distress, signs of anxiety, and confusion about their mother's disappearance. Charlie especially reportedly struggled with loyalty conflicts between his father and maternal grandparents. So dad's
Of
probably
course, because
going,
he's
he
probably
hates them,
talking bad
and
about them.
right.
Yeah.
So it's probably very hard on Charlie because he's the older of the two. He has more
Well, not to mention, even
awareness.
if he didn't, you feel a loyalty to your parents always. You know, you don't want to not be with your parents.
Right. Even if, they're not being
Great.
the greatest.
Yeah.
Right. So a court appointed psychologist evaluating custody reportedly concluded that Josh lacked insight into the boy's emotional needs, that he demonstrated rigid, controlling personality traits, and the boys required stability away from ongoing investigative chaos. So the evaluator recommended supervised visitation with Josh only.
Yeah.
So that was recommended. And then a custody evaluator concluded after a court ordered psychological evaluation of Josh that Josh showed narcissistic traits, displayed controlling behavior, lacked insight of how his actions affected the children, and demonstrated concerning emotional detachment. And that evaluator recommended against unsupervised custody with the boys at all.
Yeah. Lacked
So,
insight, aka doesn't give a shit.
yeah. In December of 2011, the boys were removed from John's custody and placed with Susan's parents, Chuck and Judy Cox. Josh was allowed supervised visitation, monitored contact, and structured visits with a social worker present. So that was this September.
Is this about to get a lot worse?
Yes.
I remember what happens. Yeah, this is fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
This story is fucking awful.
Yeah, it's totally preventable. It's just
Yeah.
So early in February then, so that was September. In February of 2012, a judge ruled that Josh would not regain custody, and the court was preparing for a termination of parental rights hearing.
They were going to give Susan's parents
Complete full custody.
And just allow him to visit with a social worker present.
Yes.
And a narcissistic control freak didn't like hearing that.
No.
Didn't like hearing you can't and you won't. That didn't go over well.
Mm-mm.
Continue.
So
I know where it's going.
Yeah.
Guys, just wait. It's about to get so much fucking worse.
It is. He was facing ongoing suspicion in Susan's disappearance, the custody loss of his children, financial pressures, and a criminal investigation cloud. So 5 days later, during a supervised visit, the unthinkable happened. So it's February 5th, 2012. A planned visit with Josh was scheduled that day, and it was to be supervised. The assigned social worker that day was Elizabeth Griffin Hall, otherwise known as Liz. This scheduled visit was supposed to last 2 hours. So the timeline, it was 12:30 in the afternoon. Liz arrived at John Powell's rented home in Graham, Washington with the boys, Charlie, who was 7, and Braden, who was 5. 12:35, Josh greets them at the door. According to Liz's statements, Josh picked up one of the boys and quickly ushered both children inside and then slammed the door shut in her face. She attempted to follow, but the door was locked.
Court-appointed guardians, or like court-appointed, what's the word? Like these people who are in charge of the visitators. I don't know what you call it. I can't think of
just
the
a
word right
social
now.
worker, I think.
It's these people who are in charge of supervising these visits.
Yes.
That are appointed by the courts. I could do it. It's just a person. It's just a person who knows what the rules are.
No special training.
They have special training to some extent, but like they're not psychologists. They're not therapists. They're not armed. But many times, these situations are extremely contentious. If you're being supervised for a visit with a child, you're probably not fucking happy about it.
Right.
And there's something going on that led to that, right? That's usually not good. Because if it were good, we wouldn't need supervised visits, right? So these people they're just a presence, and all you can hope is that the two people, whoever is requiring the supervised visit, then whoever's being supervised, right? These adult figures, whoever's vying for custody or whatever the situation is. The hope is that in the back of their mind, they remember that if they do anything or say anything stupid or fuck up or break the rules or whisper to the kid or try to be alone with the kid or any of these things, that supervisor is going to go right to the judge with that information.
Yes.
And and all they can do is hope that the thought of that is enough to keep these people from doing something. Past that, you can pick up the kid and just run off. You know what I mean? Like, unless this person happens to be a fucking really super brave track star that's going to run you down and try to fight you for it's just it's just like a me. It's just
yeah, what are you going to do?
This person just slammed the fucking door in my face and then locked it. I
can't kick it down.
I could break a window, but I'm going to probably have to explain why I did that. And is it within my rights to do that? Or is that being too much? Like, what do I do? I have to call the police. I have to report this. I need to get into contact with the case manager, my boss. I need to say like, hey, this is what's happening. What should I do? And in that amount of time, when you're trying to figure out how to navigate this weird situation you've been put in, dude's inside with the kids.
Yeah.
And
obviously shouldn't be alone with them for a reason.
Yeah, and was right. And the person that's supervising probably knows case information, but at this point, what do they really know? He's the prime suspect in his wife's disappearance, but he's saying he didn't do it, and they never found her, and they can't fucking charge him, so it's just speculative. And then they're saying that his dad was a fucking creeper and was like into taking pictures of kids, maybe diddling kids, weirdo, might have diddled his own grandkids. That's not
probably diddled Josh
for all we know, right? That's not Josh's fault, but now Josh is being punished for it, and we can go back and forth if we thought that Josh knew that something was going on, or should he have been more present and known, or whatever. That really doesn't matter. All we know is that this guy is under a lot of pressure, guilty or not, and isn't supposed to be around these kids alone. And then it falls on this poor woman, Liz, to
deal with this,
do something about just your fucking average Joe. All her job is just to sit there, and she knows he's not supposed to be alone with them, and he shouldn't be whispering to them, and she needs to be present at all times. There's these rules. Past that, she's not a fucking police. She's not a fucking therapist. She doesn't know what to do.
No, right.
This whole situation was just wild. This woman shows up, and you're about to say, this unimaginable fucking scenario breaks out.
Exactly. So what she's doing between the next 2 minutes, she is knocking hard and repeatedly and calling out. And she said almost immediately she smelled gasoline. So this is obviously an emergency.
Yeah.
Now it's 12:38. She called 911.
I've heard this call before.
And portions of the call were publicly released, include her stating she believes Josh has gasoline. The children are inside with him. She's afraid he's going to harm them. And she told dispatch, he shut the door in my face and I can hear one of the kids crying. Dispatch response has since been heavily criticized for not classifying the call as an immediate life threat emergency, which it should have been. Yeah. Obviously, you smell gasoline, he slammed the door in your face, he's supposed to be on supervised visits, something bad is happening.
Right. Again, it's just like no one would think that it would escalate as quickly as it escalated.
Yeah, it's hard to prepare for something like that. You just
No one would think that they're like, okay, the dad of the children slammed the door in your face because he's pissed off about supervised visits. Okay. You know, like, what's he going to do? It's his kids. He's just mad at you. He hates you because he thinks you're a bitch. Keeping him from his kid. Like, he hates the system.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, you know, it's one of those things where I love to say, like, fuck the system and the system's bullshit. But, like, in this case, I don't think anybody could have prepared for
the outcome.
the outcome.
No.
And the grandparents absolutely did not want him like, remember that the grandparents all along thought that he fucking killed their daughter.
Right.
And hid her body and now is alone with their grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted him so far away from those kids. That's why they fought so hard and why this went on for so long.
Yeah.
And they absolutely did not want the kids to be able to be at his house or with him or anything. They dreaded when they had that they had to. They were mad that the courts were making them, but obviously they were doing what they were, because if they would have said no, then they would have been in contempt of court. So they had to follow the rules. And go ahead, keep going.
So between 12:40 and 12:45, Liz is still on the phone with the dispatcher. She continues knocking. She's circling the house looking for another entry point. She's doing everything she can do to try to help the kids beyond breaking into the house.
And you have to think she's probably scared. I'd be scared out of my fucking mind, because she probably does know that this guy was accused of killing his fucking wife. So she thinks he's capable of murder. She smells gasoline.
Right.
Most people own guns or at least a fucking knife. Like, yeah, no matter how much of a strong, like, motherly protective instinct you have, you're fucking scared for your own life right now.
You know something bad is happening.
And if you're at all, like, you've got to be thinking in the back of your head, like, you got to be thinking about your job. Like, what if I'm blowing this out of proportion and I break this dude's fucking window?
I could lose my job.
I get in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
Because that's how it always fucking happens. Like, he's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, and then I don't have any money to fix this. My boss gonna be pissed. Like, your mind had to just be going, like, I know I would have been like, Courtney, you're freaking out. You watch too much Dateline. Courtney, calm the fuck down. Everything's fine. Quit freaking out. Like, just wait for the police. Like, I'd have been trying to tell myself, he's not about to catch something on fire with gasoline. Like, no one would think that's about to happen.
Yeah. Well, at 12:46, the house exploded. Neighbors reported a huge loud explosion and then flames just engulfing the structure within seconds. The fire was fueled by gasoline accelerants. At 12:48 and 12:50, in that time, the first responders arrived and the house was fully engulfed. The fire crews attempt suppression, but the structure collapsed quickly and there's no chance of survival of anyone inside at this stage.
A classic case of, if I can't have them, nobody can have them.
Yeah. Yep.
And
which is so scary.
I can't let these little loose ends out and about in the world, because one of them keeps trying to tell everybody that mommy went camping with us and won't shut the fuck up about it and forget.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. So the autopsy findings showed that Charlie and Braden suffered chop wounds consistent with hatchets attacking them. All three, including Josh, died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Toxicology indicated the gasoline fumes contributed to incapacitation. But what that means is that the boys were alive when the fire was set, and they ultimately died from smoke inhalation rather than blunt force trauma alone.
Well, what that means is that if there was chop wounds on them, but there was damage to the lungs or carbon monoxide in the, like, whatever they could test, that they weren't chopped to death.
No. But obviously they had to suffer that. I mean, you're just wondering, what the fucking hell is Josh thinking? What could he possibly I can kind of understand setting the house on fire just to be belligerent, but why do you got to attack them with hatchets?
Not condoning and not to be a weirdo. But I could see a Jim Jones situation where he's a psycho and he doesn't want anybody else raising his kids and he doesn't want to be told anymore, and he poisons himself and that, like, here, you drink this, you
Yeah,
drink this,
murder
I drink this.
suicide.
Right. And we just all kind of like puke ourselves to death. Or a quick gunshot wound. Boom, boom, boom. Like, quickly, we're all dead, we're done. I'm never out of control of them. Fucking horrific, fucking terrible, but minimalizing any pain that his own children felt. You know, like, just trying to literally like end their lives in order to stay in control of them. But
Right.
not cause them
Trauma,
agony. Like,
and the fear that they must have had being attacked by their father.
yeah, like, that's just shit that you do to someone that you fucking hate.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, investigators later confirmed that Josh
It's like he was taking out the anger that he felt towards the grandparents and how much the grandparents loved these boys and loved their daughter and were fighting. It's almost like he was doing it to them, even though they weren't the ones that felt the fucking pain of it.
He might have felt betrayed by them. Maybe he felt that they wanted to live with grandma and grandpa and not him. Maybe he blamed them.
We're obviously trying to put logical thought into a person that had no fucking
right
compass whatsoever, logical compass. So,
well, during the investigation, they found that Josh had purchased the gasoline in advance. He had transferred money out of his bank accounts, sent emails to his attorney shortly before the visit, and left a voicemail for his sister saying goodbye. He also had removed items from the home days earlier and given away his personal belongings and closed all of his bank accounts. In other words, this was totally premeditated. Yes.
Yeah, he knew this is when visit's happening, so get everything ready. Last visit.
So multiple investigations were done after this happened. The Washington Department of Social and Health Services conducted an internal review. Dispatch procedures were scrutinized, and the 911 operator's handling of the call became a point of public outrage. Of course.
Yes, and now again, how often does someone put so much gasoline inside their homes with themselves and their children in it? People catch their own house on fire, insurance fraud, that fucking happens, right? Yeah. But like, how often does this situation happen that anybody would have been like, oh, she smells gas and the dude's mad about supervised visits? I just, at this point, you know, you're just
maybe it's hindsight is
it.
2020.
Like, why didn't you get there faster? That could be said in literally every fucking call to 911 that was ever made ever.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know,
I still think that she didn't put it as a priority one. So that's the thing, is it should have been immediately responded to. We're talking about innocent children here that can't protect themselves.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It should have been prioritized properly. Yeah, but
still, yeah, it's you can't chastise her too much because, yeah.
And the whole system doesn't understand narcissistic abuse. Like, we could start there.
Absolutely.
If you understand the mindset of a narcissist and the triggers of a person who does not fucking care about other people or feel empathy like normal, and they're spiraling and they're doing worse and not better. Like, we read this and we know exactly where it's going. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We need lawmakers and police and courts to understand you do not have to be a violent person or have a long history of violence or a long history of illegal or bad behavior to be a danger to society.
That is correct. Yeah. And they don't understand that.
No.
Well, they can't, because the law and all of its little hoops that you have to go through are about proof.
They're about they're about innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt.
And I get that, because we don't want to throw everyone that we think might be a narcissist into jail.
There's
because a
this
lot of
world is full of
narcissists
them.
never do hurt anybody.
Right.
You
The
know
world
what I
is
mean?
full of narcissists that don't ever kill anybody.
But then you know what? We should grant restraining orders easily. Like, what's the big deal then? Well, just give me you know what? Fine. Fine. Don't believe me. Think that I'm fucking exaggerating. Think that I am crazy, that I don't know what I'm talking about. Sure, you can fucking gaslight me and crazy make me as well. Give me a restraining order then. Who does it hurt? Who does it hurt? You know?
Yeah.
And then when they take a shit and walk all over the restraining order, maybe that will be the first clue that, like, oh, they don't give a fuck about being told. And hopefully when they walk through the restraining order, it's not lethal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's something low key enough that it just helps prove that, like, they don't give a fuck about being told or rules or
right,
you know, respecting boundaries of any kind. Like, I don't know, how do you fix a system that already doesn't want to believe women?
I know, it just takes
and then
time.
People will hear this story and still say, like, wow, what did she do? Like, wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people will.
Yeah, like, I don't care. I've been through this a million times. I don't give a fuck what they did. I don't care if she was fucking his dad and his brother and the neighbor and gambled all their money away. You can divorce her. You can press charges. You can leave. There's all these options that aren't killing a person.
Right.
You know? Like, where's your fucking accountability? And where's, like, if that was true and she did all those things, wow, she sounds like a piece of shit. You fucking killing her and burying her off in the woods somewhere makes you a piece of shit too. You know? Like, I don't care. I just don't.
I know.
Can't with this story.
I know.
And that's why when I Googled them and I saw the family portrait, I barely remembered her face, but I remembered his face. I said right away, dude looks really familiar to me.
Yeah.
That's why.
The fallout, the wider Powell family fallout, Stephen Powell, who was Josh's father, again was sentenced in a separate criminal case involving voyeurism again. And this led investigators to suppose maybe Susan had something on him with her children. And maybe she confronted Josh about it.
Could be.
And maybe that's where the whole thing started.
I think that if she was writing secret notes, she'd have said something about Stephen then.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, maybe it just happened and she didn't have time to write anything. Maybe you just have to wonder if Susan...
how deep it went.
Yeah.
Or maybe when she was saying his behavior's concerning, maybe that's what she meant. She didn't want to write it down that he was like a fucking weirdo pedophile or something. You know, this is all speculation.
It's true though. You know, I think that if she had actually had time,
I think that if it was just that and not that he was treating her shitty and controlling, she'd have fucking yanked the kids and she'd have been much more outspoken and much more like straight to the cops, tell somebody. I think that it was always just about her.
Okay. That makes more sense. Well, then Michael Powell, who is Josh's brother, died by suicide. That happened in February of 2013. So it just says there's messed up stuff going on with that family.
I got to tell you, if this all came out about my family, that my dad was a fucking pedophile and my brother literally chopped up and then exploded my two young nephews, yeah, I'd have done the same thing. Even if I had been like a totally normal functioning person and never really wronged anybody, or, you know, I don't think I could live every day knowing that happened to my nephews and that was my father and that was my brother.
I mean, that's pretty extreme. I would be upset about it, but I don't think I would end my own existence unless maybe I had some guilt, maybe I knew stuff was going on, then if it was about me and I was a guilty, then yeah, maybe. I don't know that I think I would just be like good riddance.
To your nephews who did nothing
No,
wrong?
no, no, no. To the dad
But
and the
that's what I'm saying.
brother.
It wasn't just the dad and the brother. I think if the dad exploded him fucking self and or the brother and the dad went back to jail for being a diddler, I'd be deeply
Okay.
ashamed and mortified, and I'd never want to leave my house, but I wouldn't want to die. But knowing that my family was that deeply fucked up, I don't
Okay.
know if I could handle that. And it makes you wonder what dad did to the sons, if anything. Not everybody
I'm gonna say
who
90% chance that they
abuses
were
the
abused.
family. Sometimes they keep it outside and keep the family unit intact as like self-preservation. But obviously, as you well know, not always.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes they absolutely keep it in the fucking family.
Right.
And so add that on top of it. Like, now I'm an adult and I'm trying to do okay, but my dad keeps getting popped for diddling kids, which is triggering for me. And my brother's a fucking psychopath too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm not to mention the media shitstorm, investigator or not investigators, well, them probably too, but news media and stuff had to be trying to go to anybody like, did you know? And you know how
Right.
know how modern news outlets are. They're gonna find anybody and be on your fucking front lawn trying. Did you know that do you think your brother killed the wife? Do you know anything? Like,
okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or just social media presence. Like, you could get hate from anywhere in the world. Someone's gonna comment on your fucking profile picture now, like, you're probably a rapist piece of shit like your fucking dad, because that's our society. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if he was so far removed, you become pulled into it.
I can see that.
And the heinousness of this, there's no way that he was not getting pulled into it.
So that happened. When did I say that happened?
2013 is when he killed himself. 2011 is when
Josh exploded his house.
Murders happened. Yes.
Okay. It was 2012, actually. It was February of 2012. Okay. 2009 is when she was reported missing.
That's what I thought. That's makes way more sense.
He had the kids for 2 years.
Of him living with his dad. Investigations happen. Dad goes to jail. He finally, because her parents, like from like jump, wanted the kids.
Right.
And it took 2 years for them to actually get to the point of getting full custody and him getting those supervised visits.
Yes.
And then in 2012, after the supervised visits had started and it was like official that he was going to lose all custody, that's when he did this. Mm-hmm. And then a year later is when the brother.
So then 7 years after that, in 2020, her parents, Chuck and Judy Cox, reached a $98.5 million wrongful death settlement with the state of Washington.
Because they had advocated that the boys should not have been with them, should not have been with him.
They said they failed to protect Charlie and Braden. The visit should not have been conducted at Josh's home. At
Josh's house. It should have been done at their home. He could come there. Right.
And the 911 call was mishandled.
Yeah.
The settlement is often described as one of the largest wrongful death settlements in Washington state history. I can imagine that. Yeah. And the funds were awarded strictly to Susan's parents, not Josh's family.
Yeah.
Susan's parents have advocated for child safety reforms rather than publicizing private financial arrangements or making like any kind of scholarship fund in the boys' names. They spend their energy advocating for reform, and their advocacy actually helped drive child protection reforms in Washington state regarding the supervised visitation policies.
Yeah. It should either be in a neutral place or at the home where the boys are living. Now, like if they're like, I don't want that fucker in my house, that's valid. Then you meet at the library or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should not be in a place that you've already deemed isn't fit for them to live in.
Right. That just makes perfect sense.
And it shouldn't be like home court
Right.
Why is my brain like totally went blank when I went to say that? Advantage, home court, like home field advantage. Like, obviously, it's going to be easier for a person if they have any malice or ill will to fucking Home Alone style set up a fucking, I'm going to slam the door, I'm going to put a fucking lockdown, I'm going to pour gasoline.
Right.
They're only going to be able to fucking do that at their own house. Not to say that they couldn't show up with a gun to the grandparents' house and wreak havoc. Like, you know, it's not a fucking perfect system. But let's start with the fact that he was the prime suspect in a murder that they just could not pin on him because of a lack of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, he was still allowed to see the kids because he kept saying, I didn't do anything. I've not been proven guilty. So why wouldn't I be able to see my kid? If it wasn't for the fucking his dad, the grandpa, being a weirdo, he would have just had custody of the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, you could argue that if he had custody of the kids, that he never would have done this.
I don't know, because, you know, Charlie was saying things and might have been able to put memories together better as he aged.
Yeah.
Which was concerning to the dad. Obviously, the dad.
I think maybe he never would have. Well, I don't know. It's hard to speculate. It really is impossible. But like the life that they would have had if he was able to remain the custodial parent would have not have been a good one.
No.
It would have led for two very messed up children in a
yes.
living in an eggshell situation where one is aware of what happened to mommy
right,
but knows they can't fucking say anything. And the older you get, the more it starts to click. Like, if he would hurt mom and is trying to avoid jail, and if I say something, he might hurt. Like, the older you get, the more you realize how like tumultuous and scary that situation is.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the grandparents got full custody and they were removed, that could have just been fucking it. Now, who's to say, like I said, that he wouldn't have just shown up at their fucking house and slaughtered everybody? Like, you don't know.
That's true.
You don't know. But at least on that path, you were trying to do everything that you could.
Yeah.
And then life can still happen in tragedy. But 98 mil. If you were wondering what the going rate for two young boys' lives, I guess it's almost 99 million.
So sad. But that's our case for the day. Thank you for hanging out this long with us and for watching. We hope that if you are enjoying our podcast, that you consider subscribing and leaving a comment. And other than that, stay tuned for the next episode. It's going to be another good one. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Yes, we do. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.